Imagine losing 27 years of your life. Not 27 days, not 27 months, 27 years. Imagine waking up every morning inside a tiny prison cell, watching your youth disappear behind cold concrete walls, missing birthdays, missing funerals, missing the chance to hold your children as they grow up. Now imagine finally walking free. Most people would dream of revenge. Most people would want those who caused their suffering to feel the same pain. But one man made a decision that changed not only his own life, it changed the destiny of an entire nation. His name was Nelson Mandela. His greatest victory was never escaping prison. His greatest victory was refusing to let prison live inside his heart. This is the true story of how one man's extraordinary choice between hatred and forgiveness prevented a civil war, inspired millions, and left the world with one of history's greatest lessons about the power of the human spirit. Nelson Mandela was born in 1918 in the small village of Mvezo, South Africa. As a child, he wasn't born into wealth or privilege, but he grew up believing something simple yet powerful, that every human being deserves dignity. As he became older, he witnessed a cruel reality. South Africa was ruled by apartheid, a system of racial segregation that treated people differently based solely on the color of their skin. Black South Africans could not vote. They had limited access to education. They were forced to live in separate communities. Their movements were controlled. Their opportunities were stolen before they even had a chance to dream. Mandela could have accepted this injustice. Many people did. Not because they agreed with it, but because challenging it seemed impossible. But Mandela believed something history repeatedly proves. Every great change begins with one person refusing to accept that injustice is normal. He became a lawyer, then an activist, then one of the most recognizable voices demanding equality. As his influence grew, so did the government's fear. In 1964, Nelson Mandela stood in a courtroom facing the possibility of death. Instead of begging for mercy, he gave one of history's most courageous speeches. He declared that he had fought against racial domination. He declared that he had dreamed of a democratic society where all people could live together in harmony. Then he said words that echoed around the world. "It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." The court spared his life. Instead, they sentenced him to life imprisonment. He was taken to Robben Island, a place designed not just to imprison the body, but to crush the soul. Prison was brutal. Mandela slept on a thin mat. His cell measured only a few feet across. He broke rocks under the scorching sun. Letters from family were rare. Visits were heavily restricted. Sometimes months passed without hearing a familiar voice. Years turned into decades. Outside, children grew into adults. Governments changed. Technology evolved. The world kept moving. Inside those walls, time seemed frozen. Many prisoners lost hope. Some lost their sanity. Others became consumed with bitterness. No one would have blamed Mandela if hatred had filled his heart. After all, hatred seems understandable when life has been stolen from you. But something remarkable happened. Prison didn't make Mandela weaker. It made him wiser. He later said that resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it will kill your enemy. The first victim of hatred is always the person carrying it. Slowly, Mandela began doing something almost unimaginable. He learned the language of his prison guards. He studied their culture. He listened to them. He tried to understand the fears of the very people who had imprisoned him. Not because he agreed with injustice, not because he excused cruelty, but because he understood something many people never discover. You cannot build peace with people you refuse to understand. The hardest prison wasn't made of concrete. It was the battle inside his own heart. Every day Mandela had a choice: feed anger or feed hope. One path felt natural. The other required extraordinary courage. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think forgiveness means forgetting. It doesn't. People think forgiveness means pretending nothing happened. It doesn't. Forgiveness means refusing to allow yesterday's pain to control tomorrow's future. Mandela knew that if he walked out of prison filled with hatred, he would still be a prisoner. The bars would simply become invisible. That realization transformed everything. On February 11th, 1990, after 27 years behind bars, Nelson Mandela finally walked free. Millions watched on television. Many expected fiery speeches. Many expected calls for revenge. South Africa stood on the edge of disaster. Years of oppression had created deep wounds. Violence was spreading. Fear filled every community. One wrong decision could have ignited a civil war. The entire world waited to hear what Mandela would say. Would he encourage revenge? Would he demand punishment? Would decades of suffering explode into anger? Instead, he surprised everyone. He called for peace. He called for reconciliation. He called for building a nation together. Not because justice didn't matter, but because revenge would only create new victims. He understood a timeless truth. An eye for an eye eventually leaves everyone blind. When Mandela became South Africa's first black president in 1994, he faced another defining moment. Now he had power, real power. He could have humiliated those who had humiliated him. He could have filled prisons with former enemies. History would probably have understood. Instead, he invited many of his former opponents into the process of building a new South Africa. He supported the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Its purpose wasn't to erase the past. Its purpose was to confront the truth honestly while giving the nation a chance to heal. Healing is never easy. Forgiveness is never cheap. But Mandela believed that a country trapped by revenge would never know peace. He once said, "Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of peace." Those weren't just beautiful words. They became the foundation of an entire nation. One of the most unforgettable moments came during the 1995 Rugby World Cup. Rugby had long been seen as a symbol of white South Africa. Many expected Mandela to reject it. Instead, he wore the jersey of the national team. He publicly supported them. When South Africa won the championship, something extraordinary happened. People from different races celebrated together. For one brief moment, millions stopped seeing enemies. They saw fellow citizens. One simple act of grace accomplished what years of anger never could. Sometimes, leadership isn't about defeating opponents. Sometimes, It's about transforming them into partners. Nelson Mandela's greatest achievement wasn't becoming president. It wasn't winning the Nobel Peace Prize. It wasn't even surviving 27 years in prison. His greatest achievement was mastering himself. Many people conquer mountains. Few conquer resentment. Many people change governments. Few change hearts. Mandela did both. He proved that strength is not measured by how hard you can strike back. True strength is measured by how much pain you can transform into purpose. He taught the world that forgiveness is not weakness. It is one of the highest forms of courage. Because revenge follows emotion. Forgiveness requires character. Maybe you've never spent a day in prison, but perhaps you've lived inside another kind of prison. A prison of regret. A prison of betrayal. A prison of disappointment. A prison built by someone else's words or actions. Maybe someone hurt you deeply. Maybe they never apologized. Maybe they never even admitted what they did. You cannot always choose what happens to you, but you can always choose what grows inside you afterward. Mandela's story reminds us that freedom begins long before doors open. Freedom begins the moment we refuse to let hatred become our identity. That doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean allowing injustice to continue. It means refusing to surrender your future to your past. Because every minute spent feeding resentment is a minute stolen from your own peace. Nelson Mandela walked into prison as a young man fighting for justice. He walked out as an older man carrying something even more powerful: wisdom. He understood that changing the world begins by mastering ourselves. The greatest chains are often invisible: fear, hatred, bitterness, pride, and the greatest act of freedom is breaking those chains before they break us. History remembers Mandela because he became a president. Humanity remembers him because he became something even greater. A reminder that no matter how dark life becomes, the human heart always has one final choice: to become what hurt us, or to become something better. If a man who lost 27 years of his life could choose forgiveness over revenge, then perhaps there is hope for all of us. And maybe the greatest victory you will ever achieve is not defeating another person, but refusing to let anger defeat you. Because in the end, forgiveness does not change the past. It changes the person who dares to forgive. And sometimes, that changes the world.